Shut up and sit down.
Good afternoon, real estate community. My name is Scott Lurie, and you're here today with The Hard Truths with Scott Lurie. I am so grateful and excited to share with you today. I've got one of a very exciting guests with us today, Daniel Martinez. I had the pleasure of meeting Daniel about a year ago. Daniel is the co-founder of HiveMind CRM. We're going to describe what CRM is for those of you that don't even understand or know what that acronym is, because a lot of people might not. So Daniel, welcome to the show, and thank you for being with us on The Hard Truths. And we're so glad to have you.
I appreciate the opportunity. Like I said, I like giving back to the community, so any way I can. So hopefully people find value in that.
Yeah, they're going to find this to be stimulating, because this is one of the topics that we get to talk about a lot in our business. And you're one of those pieces of the puzzle that's in the behind the scenes. People don't really know that what's there. And some of the successful people are using CRMs, and then we'll talk specifically HiveMind, but people are using systems, processes in place to make their real estate career and their real estate investment better. And other people have no idea what we're even talking about. And so part of it is, I'd like to just maybe ask you for a brief introduction, Daniel. You know, when I met you, you got on stage here at our Hustle Harder event, which is 1.0. We're about to drop 2.0 here. We're super excited for August. But you garnered a lot of energy, right? People were like, what is this guy talking about? And who the hell is Daniel, by the way? So Daniel, tell me, the days you started as you were you probably had a Mountain Dew. You were in some 18-wheeler. Is that true? You were an over-the-road truck driver?
Yes, I'm originally a truck driver. I used to load trucks. I'm only 30 years old, so I've been an entrepreneur for about 5 years now. It'll be 5 years this December. But I originally used to load trucks with a forklift operator, got into trucking as a truck driver, and then actually started my own trucking company. So I actually got to a point where I had 5 trucks that actually drove under me, and I own 3 of them. So I actually was the original overload truck driver, did local, regional, did dry vans, all that good stuff.
So this is for the guy listening today, or the girl listening on the phone that's saying, hey, listen, I'm flipping burgers at Burger King, or I'm driving a forklift today, or I'm just hit the 150th mile of my 1,000-mile over the road today, and we're about to talk real estate. We're about to talk what you can be and how you got out. So Daniel, tell me, you're driving truck, or you're driving forklift, then you start driving truck, then you start owning your own trucks, and then you do something crazy. What tell us what happened here, man. I got to hear this story.
So it was out of necessity, man. So I didn't know nothing about business before I got into owning a trucking business. So I was just down that trucking path because I didn't know what to do at that point. So I ended up starting a trucking company, didn't know nothing about business, and I didn't know about profit margins or managing employees, nothing at all. It was all new for me. So when I got into trucking, I quickly realized that trucking is a very money intensive game and your profit margins are slim. Most publicly traded trucking companies usually operate on a margin of 3% or less. Billion-dollar companies, their margins are 3% or less. So me as a small trucking company, realizing that, I spent a lot of money, wasn't really making very much money. So I had to pivot into something else after about 2 years doing that. And that's where I pivoted into real estate.
Yeah, it's an interesting pivot, because, the one thing that I love about real estate, the thing that makes me so passionate about this, is that you don't need a degree to get into real estate. You don't need a license to get into real estate. You don't need many things to get into real estate. But what you do need is this hustle and this desire, right? Because Daniel, the truck driver, the forklift operator, said, I just want to do better out of necessity. I want to feed my family. I want to take care of my family. I want to take care of me. I want to yield better results. And so that's that necessity need, right? So I always say to someone who's sitting there, right? Today's the day, man. You're sitting there driving truck, that you want to be better. How do we do it? Well, Daniel figured it out at 30 years old to say, you know something? I want to do better. And so that's this moment that we wanted to bring Daniel on today, because Daniel ties into our industry, our real estate industry, incredibly well. He went from a forklift driver to a truck driver to a technology company pretty darn quick. So walk us through this, right? So you wanted to do better. You got a partner, Anthony. Anthony, a good guy as well, came over here and visited with us. So tell me, you and Anthony come up with a company called HiveMind. So before you tell us about HiveMind, can you just break down CRM, right? Because I think I know what it is, but let's share what a CRM is with everybody on the audience.
CRM is a customer relations management tool. Most small businesses, I think it's like statistics, like 70% of small businesses don't use a CRM for the first 5 years.
Right. And that should blow your mind, right? So don't use CRMs, right? And so CRMs run from like they're basically a live active database of all of your communication and contacts with people, right? That's what it does. Yep. So when you have a hot lead and they say, I want to buy from you, you know this and you know how to execute on that sale. And when you said 70% of them, I think that's probably low, but CRM is so critical. So customer relationship manager tool is what a CRM is. It's basically a ability for you to manage your customers.
That's it.
So talking about this, because this is going to baffle people, right? So here's what I'm thinking is, so I'm a real estate investor, right? I don't have customers. I don't have customers, right? I want to buy your house. I don't have a customer. But the reality is, Daniel, tell us, that's not true.
Your sellers and sellers you talk to are your customers that you service. So us in the real estate industry provide a service to customers, which is an easy transaction no matter what situation they're in to sell their property. That's what we do.
Okay. So when you say the sellers, meaning the people that I'm selling or I'm dispoing my house to is part of my CRM, they're my customer, right? Is that what you're referencing?
It's your homeowner sellers, and it could be your investor buyers are your customers as well.
Okay, so break this down for the guy, Daniel, because this is really, I think, really an important piece for people, right? Because if I say I don't have customers, the answer is you actually, in the wholesale business, have two set of customers, right?
Yep.
Okay, so can you bring down the buy side? So let's just talk buy side for a minute, because I think it's so important. So when wholesalers are out there, right, who's the customer, right? Who's the customer?
It's your buyers that buy from you and your sellers that sell to you.
Okay, so breaking it down from the buyers and the sellers, right? So we have two different sides of a transaction, right? So when I am going to look for new leads or take leads and go look for new homes to buy, those targets are my customers, right? So those would be in my CRM with HiveMind would be my customers that I'm trying to go and buy from, right? So yes, customers can be someone you're paying versus the opposite side of what most people would intuitively think is a customer is someone that pays you. So in the scenario we are in the real estate industry, you would say to yourself, no, guys, let's pay attention, right? So the customer on the onset of the first part of the wholesales where we're buying houses, the customers are your lead base, your leads, right? Your lead gen, right? Who you're going to solicit for. So tell us a little bit about that process, because how does, what I'm interested in, what the guests are really interested in, Daniel, is how does the buyer, right? How does the customer, meaning me, I'm looking to go buy some houses. How does someone get that lead or that list? And then how does HiveMind or a CRM help them procure a buy?
Sure. So there's tons and tons of sources to find sellers that want to sell. So you can go to the county, there's Data Tree, there's List Source, there's a million providers out there that provide data. Fire list, water list, tax foreclosure list, the tax list, the deed list. I mean, there's a million lists out there that you can do to get that list from. So
Daniel, so if I'm a real estate investor, I'm sitting in my truck today, I'm on the road, I'm at my job at McDonald's, and I'm taking a break and I'm listening to this. What you're saying from a granular level is that there is a service out there that provides you with lists of data that you would then would import essentially into HiveMind, into your CRM to start cultivating a relationship with that person, right? So if let's just take one of your lists, for example, take the water or fire list, right? Simple list, right? So a water or fire list is somebody that has sustained a loss, an insurance loss. So whether it's let's just say a fire loss, right? Because that's the call I get all the time. Whenever I've had a fire in one of my properties, I get 50 investors that call me. And so walk us through that, right? So investor or owner of property had a fire last evening, list is updated and it gets into HiveMind, right? Or it gets to a user of HiveMind to the CRM. Tell us through that process.
So hey, Mr. Seller, we're reaching out to you. We understand you recently had a fire. Would you be interested in selling your property fire damaged as is in current condition? So we're trying to negotiate that price point because if it's a fire damaged property, I'm really got a fire damage, they're going to get an insurance check for the complete value of the property.
That's right.
Plus the stuff that's inside of it and potential merchandise, personal belongings.
So it gives them that opportunity to get out of a property that they might have a mortgage on, or they might have no mortgage on, but might have some value in it. So they're getting paid by another third party, and this investor will be able to come in and say, so I want to focus on HiveMind for a minute. I really want to focus on the CRM process because we jump through that. So we take this list, right? We have a list. Now I click import into my CRM, right? So then you just went through a phone call that you would make as the investor, right?
Correct.
But so now tell us what else the CRM can do for us, right? So I called John Smith, right? I say, John Smith, you just had a fire at your house, man. I'm so sorry about your fire. Would you be interested in selling the house? Hey, Mr. Investor, stop calling me because he just had a bad day, was up all night with the fire department, and he hangs up on you. Okay. That happens all the time, right? So what else happens, right? What else can HiveMind do for me? What does it give me an opportunity to call him back tomorrow? Does it give me an opportunity to send him an email? Does it give me an opportunity to text him? Does it put him in some type of drip funnel? What happens? Because I know what happens. Rejection sucks, right? Hey, there's a beautiful young lady. You're 16 years old. You go to her and say, hey, young lady, I'd like to take you out for a date. And she says, hey, dude, get lost, right? And now you're rejected, embarrassed. You're back home. You're sitting in your room crying, and you're saying, that didn't work out too well, right? So now let's fast forward to the 28-year-old trucker who just made his first phone call because he wants to get involved in real estate. And Mr. Smith, who just had a fire, who's up till 5 a.m, you call him and he tells you everything under the sun, why you're the biggest piece of donkey in the world and never to call him again, click, right? To me, as the investor, as a seasoned investor, that's just the opportunity, man. We got to get the no to a yes, but how do we do that? Walk us through the HiveMind CRM.
100%. So it takes 7 to 12 contacts to get that first contract. So
say that one more time, by the way. So 7 to 12 rejections or communication with this buyer to get to a yes.
That's it. If you make a phone call and you get a yes, you're lucky that first time. So it's going to take repeated action to contact that person to get them to agree to whatever terms you're trying to qualify. So when you put it into the CRM, you can email them. Hey, Mr. Seller, I'm sure it was a bad time. You might have just got off the phone with the fire marshal. When's the best time to speak with you? Send them a text. Hey, I just sent you an email. You can check it out whenever you're available. I'm sorry about what's going on. We're here to help.
Yeah.
Then what happens is you can put them in a follow-up campaign just a week later, 2 weeks later, 30 days later, whatever that it looks like, depending on the lead. Like a fire damage, you might want to hit up like maybe 2 weeks later, put them on the same, hey, send them another email, send them another text, send them, make that phone call again. Hey, last time I spoke to you, you were in it was a bad timing. I'm really sorry about that. Is now a better time to speak with you about your fire damaged property?
Yeah, and so going through the multiple levels, right? So what you can't do when the person hangs up on you, HiveMind allows for you to do via email, right? Which is give them a way to get back to you, right? Because Mr. Fireman, who just had a fire, is vulnerable right now, right? He's sensitive. He's upset. He might be pissed off at his tenant. He's might have not had something. Who knows? But you then call him. He says, "Go pound sand." You hang up, right? If you do nothing after you hang up, guess who's getting that deal? The next guy is getting that deal, right? And so what you've just said, I think, is so important that we discuss process in place is don't take the rejection personally. He doesn't know you and you don't know him. You're trying to offer some consult or some consolement about a fire that hurt this guy somehow. But the reality is you might have got him at the wrong time. HiveMind and CRMs really help you foster that relationship, right? Because you're going to forget that you called this guy, but if you immediately put him into the system and it says follow up in 2 days via phone call, follow up in 3 days via text, follow up in 5 days via email, and immediately email and immediately text him, what happens, right? He has your number. He has your email. So when the adjuster finally leaves the property, right? So now the adjuster comes, he says, man, you have a great insurance policy. You're going to get a check for 500,000 smackers. He said, great. I don't want to deal with this crap anymore. Now your text message now what? Means something to him, right? Mm-hmm. So how cool is that? So walk me through this. So HiveMind call, we get hung up on, we send him an email, we send him a text. We don't hear from the guy for 2 days. What does this CRM do for me, right? Because don't forget, that day I just called 50 people. right? Because there's 50 losses in the markets I'm targeting. I talked to 50 people. I was hung up on, yep, you guessed it, 50 times.
So you put them on follow-up campaign, and hopefully it's real estate's all about timing. So imagine if you were to call, text, or email him right when he received that check of $500,000 and he's in a good mood, who's going to get that?
So when you say the follow-up, though, I'd like to break everything down a little bit more granular for the audience, because some people we have don't even understand that. Not as if they don't understand it's a negative, but it's just not what they speak, right? You and I speak this language every day, but to the over-the-road trucker who says the follow-up, what does that mean? So there's a system, right? So this is a computer system, guys. This is a tool, right? So when you said what is a CRM, you added tool at the end, but it's not called CRMT. It's called CRM, and you add tool, which is, I think, very cool. But so understanding what we're talking about here, Daniel, the follow-up piece of it is what? Can you break it down really, really granularly for me, right? Like, what does that mean? So you put them into a follow-up what happens here? Give me the behind the scenes.
It's a flow. So you put them into a flow where it automates that process, where a lot of my clients previously were on paper. Hey, call so-and-so on the 20th. To remind, or put it in a spreadsheet. You can't remember to do that with 50 people. So what this does is once you put them into that flow, the system remembers for you, and it might send that message for you where they respond hey, call me at 5 p.m. You're like, okay, I just answer the phone and call them at 5 p.m. So it does a lot of that automated and outreach for you, so you don't have to do it manually. So you can do more.
Right. So what it says is that you can now call 100 people, and instead of writing down 100 pieces of notes, you can click follow up 3 days from now, or follow up workflow 2, or whatever you want to create. And that in that period of time will maybe send you an email to call the person, or get you in the system and tells you your task for the day, or it might automatically in 3 days send that person another email. Is that a fair statement?
100%. And it's one of those things where it's no longer depending on you. So a lot of people they want to automate, but a lot of people want to delegate. But if you can automate that whole process where there's no human factor in place, you're going to solve that potential error that could happen where you're I missed that follow up because I called in sick that day or whatever. I
didn't know to call the guy, and who you just got off the phone with. The worst call you ever get is when you forget to follow up, and you follow up the day later, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I just sold it to this guy," right? Because don't forget, let's not be arrogant enough to realize that there's 50 more people calling this guy. Who's got the most charisma and charm, and who's got the ability to follow up with the guy? Because everybody gets hung up the first time, right? Everybody. Why are you calling me? Click, right? And then you don't know what just happened in their lives, right? So it's not personal about you. So let me back you up for a minute, because Daniel, it's pretty interesting. I'm an over-the-road truck driver, forklift guy. How the hell did you get into the technology industry?
I was already a kind of technologically savvy.
Okay.
And to the point where my truck driver trainer, I aced my test, and he's like, "What are you doing here? You're not a truck driver."
Okay.
That's what he told me when I took my test when I was with my trainer. So it was one of those things where I didn't know what I was going to do. And the path was presented to me, and I kind of ended up here.
Okay.
And,
So now let's take the CRM piece of it, the follow-up, right? So is there follow-up on follow-up? And then we talked about funnels. You used this word funnel. And for me, the funnel coming from Wisconsin is where you dump a bunch of beer in it and drink it fast. What does the funnel really mean, right? Walk us through, give us the high level. What can you create in a funnel, right? Because I know that funnels can have multiple different pieces that can have multiple different statements. And what happens when you get one that becomes engaged in the funnel, right? So hey, my name is Scott. Do you want to sell 123 Main Street? And they write back, yes. What happens in that funnel, right? Does the fire alarm go off and everyone start jumping up and down that we got a live one? Walk us through that a little bit, please.
So there's different types of funnels. There's website funnels, there's email funnels, there's message funnels. So there's different levels to it. So what you're talking about is more like a message funnel. So you text 10,000 people, you think of a big funnel, you put 10,000 people into it, 5,000 people might not even respond the first day. They might respond a day later. So it's kind of one of those things where you kind of filter people down. So some might say yes, some might say curse you, some might say wrong person.
I do the cursing,
You know?
by the way, almost as fun right now because I get so many. Hey, do you want to sell this property? And then I have to have my moment. But yes, so let's just say that so what Daniel's saying is that they build a list, right? So one of these lists yields 10,000 phone numbers. How long does it take HiveMind or a CRM to text 10,000 people?
You can text 10,000 people in a day or 2 days.
In a day or 2 days. So in one day, you can send 10,000 text messages.
That's it. Yep.
Dude, you've got to love this world, right? I've got to be honest with you. I love this world. You have to love this world that we can send as real estate investors 10,000 text messages. Okay, 10, so you send 10,000 text messages. What can I send 10,000 emails?
100%.
Wow.
We send right now we send about 150,000 on automation a month.
On automation a month. So right now in your CRM, you're emailing 150,000 buyers or sellers.
Yeah, in an email campaign. So let's say you have a 5 email campaign across 30 days. That's 30,000 people we're sending across 30 days 5 times.
Okay, so he has a 30,000 person list that he's sending 5 times, 150,000 people. Wow, amazing. Okay, so walk us through once again. So we're in this funnel. We sent out 10,000 text messages today. And as you said, maybe 5,000 never respond, right? Is that the number? About 50% never respond?
So most messages are read within the first 2 minutes. But
can you tell that they read that message?
No.
Okay.
Like they're going to get a notification on the phone. They're going to read it or not.
It's a scientific statement that says that within. Okay, so carry on. So you send 10,000 text messages in a day. It's read, no problem. Now what? So
some might ignore it.
Yep.
Messages all the time. They might ignore it. Some people might cuss you out. They might take the step out of their time to no, not available, wrong person. They might curse you. They might make fun of your grandma. They might just a variety of replies. But out of that 10,000 people, you might get 2 that say, yes, I want to sell my property, or 3 that say, yes, I want to sell my property. Well, now those are leads or you might get varying answers like, yeah, maybe not right now. Or call me in 3 months. Call me in 30 days. Call me in 6 months. And let's
just fast forward, Daniel, just for the sake of time, because we're going to cover anywhere in between. Call me in 90 days. Let's just say that somebody says yes, right? So, do you want to sell your house? And they write back yes. So tell me, the fire alarm has to go off, right? Something has to dingle. You gotta go crazy, right?
Yeah, so we can set up an automation 100%. If somebody says yes, you can set up a text message to reply to them yes. When's the best time to talk to you? And then set up the fire alarm to your acquisitions team.
Okay, so stop. I want to just stop because I want to just go through this process. So when somebody says yes, this CRM can auto reply. It's smart enough to understand that the word yes. So if reply equals yes, the response is, when is a great time for us to give you a call? Here's the best number to reach me at, and here's my email, and here's my name, and here's our website, and you can give them 50 different pieces of information to build what you're trying to do is get the contract or try to get them so that you can build some credibility with them, right? That's this purpose. 100%. Okay, yep. So Daniel, that first piece of it means once we've got a funnel working, right, we get to the point of a yes, right? Okay, so now we have a yes, we sent them an auto reply. Now, you just said the fire alarm's going off, right? So now the acquisition team, right, your team that's out there buying deals gets what? An email, an emergency text message. Tell us what happens here, because this is amazing, guys. This is where the system actually makes you amazing.
So you can set up all the above. So you can send out an email notification, a phone notification, or SMS notification. Hey, this person wants to sell their property, John Smith, 123 Main Street in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Call them right now.
Okay, so I'm on my phone. I'm sitting here at my desk wondering what the solitaire game I should be playing today. I'm looking at all these other things. And then all of a sudden, I get a text message from our CRM that says, John Smith, 123 Main Street, it replied or says yes, right? So the team already knows what this text message should mean to them. And then what should happen?
You call them
right away. You're calling the guy right away, or girl, or the seller, and you're saying, "Hey, I'm Scott. or I'm Daniel, and I just got notification that you would like to sell your home. Thank you so much for your interest in us. And they're going to say, how the hell in 3 seconds did that yes turn into this, turn into you calling me? You guys have to be legitimate, right? Credibility being built, right? Over and over and over again. We want to build credibility for the ultimate goal is that when we give them the offer, right? When we give them an offer on the home, well, it's going to be lower than they expect, right? No investor pays more than investors think, right? It doesn't happen, but it's going to be lower. You have credibility that you're going to be able to close, and they're going to be able to get their money, and they're going to be able to move on, right?
Yep.
Okay. So that's the 1, 2, 3 step. I want to take you back though. So now we sent out 10,000 text messages, and 9,997 of them either cussed us out or didn't respond. So tell me what HiveMind does now. What can it do?
So you can sort out by warm leads that, hey, maybe not at this time. Put those on a 30-day follow-up.
But Daniel, take it back just to a really high level, right? So if somebody says, call me in 90 days, the CRM or the follow-up can put them in what you call a drip campaign or whatever it is to say that the computer, your system, the HiveMind system is working for you by just following the system. If somebody replies with anything, they are automatically into the next warm leads that gets a follow-up every 30 days. Is that a fair statement?
100%. So if they say
that's amazing. Tell us.
30 days, boom, you get added to a campaign automatically. 30 days, it's going to send them a text message or an email or a call.
Yeah, and that text message can be, hey, you asked me to contact you at a future date. I'm doing so. They're going to say to them, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. This guy actually followed up, right? Because 99.9% of this world doesn't know how to follow up. And that's why HiveMind's in business, right? That's why CRMs are here. It's such a brilliant business. You never told me this. How much do you charge? How much is a CRM for a real estate investor?
We charge $99 a month.
$99,000?
$99.
$99. This tool is available to you. $99. Your life and the ability to do everything you wanted in real estate is $99.
That's it.
That's amazing.
I just want to say that the affordability of this is mind blowing. Not because of your product or anything, but the ability to get into real estate. We use PropStream here, and for $99, I'm amazed at all the data I get. I'm like, how the hell can I pull this for $99? Something's amazing. I know Jerry Norton uses his own proprietary system that's like $150 a month, but it's so affordable to build a system and processes in real estate. Yet, of the investors you talk to, how many of them are using CRMs?
It's one of those things where like most businesses don't use them. So it's almost like you have to, there's other CRMs out there, but they're difficult to manage. So it's
right.
Finding one that you like, one that works, and one that's monetarily effective.
Yeah, so monetarily, I mean, at this point, guys, if you're going to go and make an investment to try to make a $5,000 wholesale, and you can't make a $1,200 or $100 a month annual investment into a CRM, my best guess for you is not to be a wholesaler, right? Come up with a different business plan, because there's no way you're going to compete with the sophisticated wholesalers that are out there with CRMs and all the other data points. If you don't compete properly, right, it doesn't work. So I guess we probably share that thought process, Daniel.
100%. You're going to need some type of marketing budget to start this business in general to produce leads.
For sure.
As far as like client success, we've had 12 clients hit over 100K a month in profit in a month.
So the 12 clients, so you HiveMind, have 12 of your clients that are hitting 100K a month in profit using your services.
In revenue.
Yeah.
They pay us $99 to $200 plus their
for $99.
Yeah,
wow.
And they're making $100,000 or more using our.
So I don't know how to do return on investments, but my guess is that that's over a very high number.
That's very good.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. That's pretty remarkable, Daniel. So Daniel, what I want to maybe discuss a little bit with you is, so we talked about the buy side, but we haven't really talked about the dispo or disposition side of the wholesale business, right? And so you buy an asset or we buy a contract as a wholesaler, right? We're buying, and that's what a lot of people do, right? How do you challenge and chase down these leads and then get the contract? But what subsequently goes to that is the other side of the customer, right? So most people don't view the buyer as the customer, or the person you're buying from is the customer, because you usually like to get paid to make the money. So on the dispo side, talk us through what that looks like. Because I mean, man, I bought 123 Main Street for $100,000. I'm looking to wholesale it for $115,000. And now what? I don't know. Tell me what's going on here. So I'm assuming there's a little bit of the same process, just with a little bit different ideology.
100%. So we have the ability to build websites. All you need to do is buy a domain. So you can actually build a website, put your property on your website. 123 Main Street, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,400 square feet, $200,000. And then put that online. Now you're on the web. Now you can post it on Facebook. You can send people a link to physically look at the property pictures, all that stuff. And then you can do the same thing: text, email, and text out to your potential buyers.
But so you're so you're not texting to the same people you're trying to buy from, right? So you have to go and create a whole nother list, right?
It's another list.
So this other list, give us some of the categories that you're seeing that you think are part of that dispo list that you want to get. So you mentioned, when we talk about the other list, you talk about water, fire, estate records, probates. You talk about all those lists. What does this list look like, right? Who are we going after?
Cash buyers, hedge funds, agents.
So let's go through those a little bit in category, right? So cash buyers. So you're going down and you're pulling a list of buyers that have purchased real estate in an LLC that have no mortgage on it, right? So that's the qualification, right? So cash buyer. Right?
Yep. Cash buyer or hard money lender. They use some type of hard money loan.
Right.
Hedge fund buyers, they usually buy a lot of properties. So if you're looking for a big buyer, LLC that buys multiple properties per month.
Okay.
Somebody that's well-funded, hedge fund buyer. And then the one we like the most is agent list. Agents usually have a Rolodex of potential buyers that want to buy properties in the area. So if you text enough agents, you can usually find a buyer that way as well.
So you would text a real estate agent and you say, "Hey, dear Mr. or Mrs. Real Estate Agent, I have 123 Main Street available for sale. Do you know any buyers? Please call me, or please text back."
We pay commission is a good one for them because
I was going to get into that for a minute, because those real estate agents don't get paid without getting commission, right? That's how they earn their living, right? So that one slogan in the bottom there that says "we pay commissions." Yeah, there we go. The fire alarm's going off in their head, right? I can get paid. For so yeah. Okay. So we're talking about those three categories are basically, so you would go and cultivate lists of real estate agents. You would cultivate lists of cash buyers, or people that use hard money lenders or private lenders, or you would go get hedge funds, basically people that are buying large amounts of properties that would be interested potentially in your disposition of a property. So does HiveMind allow for us to have both of those prop categories in our CRM together concurrently? Yes.
It's a tag-based system. So you can tag your sellers as sellers and your buyers as buyers, and then search and text.
Right. So what I think what Daniel's saying, just so you understand, is that every time you import a list of somebody, you're importing them, and then when you import them, you add a tag to them so that you can then filter out of this tag, right? So what you're saying is that the realtor agent, they're coming in as real estate agent, and you can tag and send a real estate agent a different message on the dispo side than you would a hedge fund or than you would a cash buyer, because you don't want to necessarily say to a cash buyer, "We pay commissions," because they're like, "Pay commissions on what? What are you talking about? We want to buy the damn house." But to a real estate agent, the message is, "Do you have a buyer? Because we want to pay you commission to buy this house," right? And so the messaging can be set up based on these tags. And so tags, can people have multiple tags?
Unlimited tags.
Unlimited tags. So you can be tagged as a buyer, a seller, a real estate agent. So I'm an investor. I'm also a real estate agent, and I'm also a cash buyer. I can have those three tags.
Yeah, and we might go down to the point where, like, if I'm building a relationship with you, what county do you buy in? What property do you buy? 3-bedroom, 2-bath, a single family in this specific county is what I'm looking for. You can tag them all that. That way, when you sell a specific property you want to sell, you can search by those tags and sell to people that actually want to buy those properties.
Yeah. So Daniel, you just brought up an amazing point, right? So dispo teams, right, are created by people that are there dispo to create the sales side of the wholesale, right? But when they're not selling, what can they be doing to foster relationships? And you just said something that's so powerful that I don't know if everyone caught on to, but I'm going to bring it back so everyone kind of pays attention here. So here's what he said. If your dispo team, call the buyers and you ask the buyers, hey, do you buy in Milwaukee County? Do you buy in Waukesha County? And they say, I don't buy in Milwaukee County, but I buy in Waukesha County. You can tag them Waukesha County. And then you can filter. I want to filter cash buyers, Waukesha County, and now the list is not going from 400 people, but there might be 6 people that you could actually now get on the phone with them and say, hey, I remember when I spoke to you on June 12th, you said you buy in Waukesha County. I've got a great asset for you in Waukesha County. And they're going to say, no kidding. How the hell did you remember that conversation? HiveMind, CRM. That's why, right? That's the whole, and this isn't a commercial about HiveMind or CRM. It's a commercial about systems and processes that make you better, right? HiveMind is one. HiveMind is a phenomenal asset, right? But we have to think through it to say, here's what makes sense out of it. So, man, that is amazing. So both sides of the CRM are great, right? Can you tell me one other thing? We talked a little bit about white labeling. Is that still an irrelevant piece in CRM world or in our space of investor space? Is that still viable?
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity out there doing different things. The one thing about the real estate industry is that there's a plethora of niches you can do in real estate to kind of separate yourself from everybody else. So there's special people that specialize in trouble title and airships and unlocking properties. There's people that might specialize in software or data. There's companies out there that might specialize in specific type of property assets, like in office or in retail or in single family or land or storage. So there's so many different asset classes and niches in the real estate industry that you can be a real estate investor or a real estate business in real estate, but not necessarily do real estate directly.
That's such a powerful thing because, I think people lose sight of it. Now, does your CRM connect with phone systems like Ring Central or whatever the other ones that are out there, 8x8 or whatever?
So we integrate with Twilio. We're having a WhatsApp integration coming out soon, but it's one of those things where Twilio is a phone system. So it comes with a single line power dialer, RVMs, voicemails, calling capability, texting capability, and we are on app based. So we can actually call, text, and text, email.
So tell me something, Daniel, because I know you've done a lot of podcasts and we're getting towards the end of our time here. And I just want to give this audience, because I don't think people really understand the breadth of you, right? Like when you came up and spoke at our Hustle Harder, I'm like, guys, are you guys paying attention to this amazingness? And then I'm like, well, I don't think so. And I wonder how many people left that. There was 200 people in the room. I wonder how many people left and got HiveMind. And I'm going to say probably 2 people, right? And it's irritating to me because it's like, but I want to wholesale. I want to do this. I'm like, well, did you go get your CRM? Did you start the process? Have you built a system in your funnels and everything else? And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, you need to start paying attention. So Daniel, tell me, how does someone learn more about HiveMind? How do people get to you as a CRM expert, right? Because you're a truck driver, man. You were a truck driver and now you're running a technology company that is amazing and offering so much value for a measly $99 a month. And how do they get to you? Talk to me. Just give us your contact information and give us how we can get to you. Is there any, and one last thing, I'm sure you probably have some funny social because you seem like a funny guy. So give us your Instagram handle as well.
So Instagram is Daniel_._Martinez. Best way to get a hold of me, we have a it's a public Facebook group. It's HiveMind CRM on Facebook. But if you really want to see what automation looks like and you're like, how can I physically, tangibly see this? You can text us at 210-972-1842. Just text the keyword course, COURSE, or HIV Hive, and you can kind of get put in our automation. You can see what it does. If you have any questions about this,
I'm sorry, say the number just slower. So guys, write this number down and text it, and you'll get to be put into the system and you'll be able to see it. So give us the number, please.
210-972-1842.
And text that number. What should they text? Course to that number?
Course. We offer a $1 course of how to make 6 figures on one land deal for $1.
For $1. I feel like I want to give the first 100 guests of the $100 for you. Okay, so give me the number one more time.
210-972-1842.
And if you put in the word hard money, the course that you charge for, I'm paying for as a consideration to get your butts out of the truck, get your butts off the wherever you are, get your butt out of the W-2 job, get where you ever are to see how you can become a master in CRM and real estate investing. Is that a deal?
Yeah, I can do that. 100%. Text hard money.
That's amazing. Text hard money, guys. Come on. Let's pay attention here. Daniel, I'm so grateful for our time today. I'm very ungrateful that you're not coming to our Hustle Harder event too, but you have an event that you do on your own. So there's more information about that we can get. We'd like to share with our audience. If they can't attend us and they can attend you, we'd like to still have people educating and learning through real estate. So, Daniel, I just want to say with a heartfelt thank you. Thank you for joining me, Scott Lurie, on the Hard Truths with Scott Lurie. You've been a phenomenal guest. I think what you're doing for the real estate community is a phenomenal blessing to everybody, is that they can get out there for $99 and become a business. You can become a business for $99, guys. Go and do it today. The dollar course that you're paying, I'm paying for you. Text them hard money and let's get started. Daniel, at Hive Mind, thank you so much for being a guest for us today on the Hard Truths with Scott Lurie.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, and hopefully we'll see you at the next event. Not this one, but the next one.
We'll be there. We'll be to you, and you come to us. Take care of yourself, guys, and all of our listeners out there. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Happy investing, and thanks for listening to us on the Hard Truths.